Welcome, everybody, to another weekly Idle Champions live stream. My name is Dylan, and I'm coming to you live from the streaming closet at Codename Entertainment in beautiful Victoria, BC, Canada. A shout out to our moderator and producer Jay, as well as our executive producer Erica, for helping keep the show going, and a huge thanks to D&D for hosting us on the official D&D Twitch. It is and will always be an honor to be here. I imagine you've noticed that my tavern has disappeared. Long story short, I need to re-encode those video files so that they stop flickering obnoxiously in the background of stuff, because there's technical reasons. It's a big pain in the butt. But today, I have a guest. My guest is Shawn. Some of you may know him from his wildly popular weekly Pancake Twitch show, Griddle Champions, where he and pancake artist Lee Goldberg talk about Critical Role and sometimes some other stuff. You may also recognize him or his name from the end of your in-game support tickets, as Shawn spends the bulk of his time trying to make sure that you are happy, that everybody has a positive experience. So, please welcome Shawn to the show.
Oh, it's so good to be back.
How are you doing today?
Oh, good, man. Had a good lunchtime D&D session.
Yeah. No, I watched that with envy when I come into the office. I got my mask on and like sneak right into the streaming room. But then like I hear people like joyously playing D&D, and I'm like, that used to be me.
Yeah, it's just a duo of us with me, Brown, and Adam playing. So it's a different experience playing with only one other PC. But it's
I imagine, yeah.
It's neat.
Super limited space requirements these days.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like the capacity of one in here. Otherwise, you would just be sitting right here.
Exactly.
So it's just this.
So now I'm two rooms away.
2 rooms away. Well, no, you're more than that.
It's like two full.
You're two full offices and then a room away.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, because the expansion that we had started when COVID hit, now we're putting all that space to use because you
thankfully
suddenly need twice as much space or 3 times as much space for the same number of people.
People are already commenting. I'm wearing my chef's hat today.
Oh yeah.
You had to come with my old school Critical Role hat, so I haven't ordered a new one yet.
Oh yeah, were you still waiting to get that Tal'Dorei Republic one?
Yeah. Last time I went to purchase one, they were sold out still. So
oh wow. Okay.
But I did get the Vax hoodie because I ordered one an hour after it went up.
Oh yeah, their merch, their audience devours their merch pretty fast. It seems like because it's pretty coincidental the stuff that I do have. I just see the link. I'm like, okay, and I click through and I get it. But that's not the case for a lot of people. So yeah. Did you get all your Funkos?
I try to hold back a bit because their shipping tends to be pretty expensive. It adds like an extra 20 plus to each whatever. Order. So, and then it's of course it's USD on top of it.
I sent them a complaint about that actually because because I ordered like 2 shirts and they're like, we're gonna redeem it from 2 different centers for double the shipping, and I'm like, what the hell is this?
That's like brutal.
Yeah. I'm like, that's a problem on your end, not mine.
Yeah. Like, don't charge me for that. That's not fair.
Yeah, that's no, because you also get like duty and customs crap over the border.
Yeah.
Sometimes, not every time, but sometimes they're like $20 because government.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyways, there's probably more productive things we could talk about rather than complaining about shipping merch.
It's a big deal.
Well, we're in a time where people don't go out to shop. Mm-hmm. So like how many people just are relying upon just shipping things. You're like, well, I've bought stuff from this seller before, so I know how big that pair of pants is or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you order it that way instead of just going downtown or whatever.
What's downtown? I've never heard of this mystical place.
Yeah, it's a place where people go to party and spread viruses, apparently.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Stay away.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, but otherwise, what's new?
Oh man, just the endless trade of tickets that I dredge through every day. It's been a lot. It's been a lot better. It's been a lot better. So things have been going great. Other than that, and that home D&D games and just taking next day after another. That's it.
Do you actually get to play in your D&D games, or are you DMing them?
I get to DM my D&D games.
Yeah,
so it's nice to be able to play, even if it's only an hour a day here at work. So
I understand. I'm DMing 2 campaigns right now, and like there are days at the end of the day where I'm like, my energy level is such. I'm like, I could play some D&D. I'm like, oh, I got a DM though. Shit,
Yeah.
I got some work to do to prep.
Yeah. I've come to like, I have a necromancer in my party, and it's getting out of hand. He's got 16 skeletons and zombie like mix. So I'm gonna start bringing up mob rules for him because there's too much to do, like an individual turn for everyone. So
yeah, mob rules are good, but also if he's a necromancer with a small necromancer army, guess who doesn't like that? Lots of people.
Yeah,
like you could justifiably have a party of like priests, clerics, and paladins show up and be like, "Evil! You are evil, sir! We smite you!" and then just attack them. Like
yeah, they are in the the deep pits of Avernus right now. So
oh yeah, there's lots of
this kind of stuff. Kind of gets away
stuff.
They get away with a lot of things because they're in hell.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. Yeah, I was telling you guys in our Monday meeting that I drove my players off a cliff in ours, but I forgot the most fun part of that is actually that right before that I seduced 2 of them to the dark side.
Oh,
yeah.
Are you doing like a module at home or just your own adventure?
We're doing Descent into Avernus, but one of the characters, the warlock, didn't write their backstory. I'm like, well, I'll write you one, and it's ruthless. it's horrible. Their backstory is so horrible, and so they've been, they've kind of messed about. They ended up in Avernus long before the Blood War hit it at first, because their spell got messed up, and they met.
The plane shift and move over, or
yeah. I messed with them that way, and then let them interact with the then Archduke of Avernus, and then when they finally made it to present day, like they'd already met some people, but Asmodeus wasn't in charge of Avernus, wasn't in charge of the Nine Hells when they first arrived in the Nine Hells, and so they're caught between a bunch of archdukes who follow Asmodeus and some who follow an older, not higher power, but a different power that are conspiring against him, and so there's that. But they were taking basically like a military transport train from Stygia up through the layers to Avernus.
Oh, that's crazy. That's I've just been following the book like to a T.
I like the book, but
yeah. This is also like this is my first time DMing like a full-on campaign too. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I'm gonna stick to the book for now, and then we'll expand a little bit once the book's done and try to test some things out. But it
was also my own fault in that I gave them options. I told them like that, like they basically had 2 obvious paths to get back up to Avernus from once they could go through the summoning circle that they used the first time. That's like a direct trip to the point that they left. But I made things so scary there for them that they didn't want to go back that way. They're like, we'll take the long way around. It's like, what's the other way? I'm like, you can catch the train in the capital city of Stygia. And it's like this like massive 100-car long infernal like war train. And they already had a ticket for the train that I gave them earlier. Well, I wanted to give them more than one way to get there. Get down to Stygia because they had a conference with Levistus. But on they're like staying in an archduke's car, like the last car on the train on the way back up, and they're like afraid to leave it because they know that the rest of the train is just full of devils. Like the car next to it, I described like pit fiends getting in and out of it at stops, right? Like
and a casual pit fiend.
Like, but all of the serving staff in their train car are succubi and incubi. And
interesting.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, they're just there to please you. They want to make sure that you're happy because like you're staying in this car, and they're like, our dinner for tonight is roasted unicorn, and like they get presented with the menu when the one of them who's actually lawful good is like in another part of the car, like having a bath for the first time in who knows how long, and like not in their armor. So they're not there for the conversation, but the other two like, that sounds nice. And so the next thing you know, one of them is being fed a unicorn's heart while having a bath and getting a massage from an incubus.
Oh, sounds lovely.
And the other one is like they're just like loving it. And then after it's over, I'm like, all right, you guys, just you have committed a purely evil act, and your alignments are shifting towards evil. So if you are neutral, you are now evil. If you are good, you are now neutral. And they're like, what? Really? I'm like, are you kidding me? You're eating unicorn heart.
You ate a unicorn heart. Yeah. I've kind of like stayed away from like there's a point in Avernus like if you're there for too long you just naturally shift.
Yep.
That way. So I did that, and then it was like immediate the players started attacking each other. It was like, I was like, okay, you're lawful neutral now. My one player is like, great. I cast suggestion on my other party member, and I cast lightning bolt on this person. It's like, whoa, that's just not what lawful evil is right off the bat, man. Like, calm
it's
down.
a personality shift. You know, like it's So I told them, I'm like, you guys don't have to go. You don't have to instantly become the Joker. Like if you're chaotic neutral, you're not the Joker now that you are more evil. Yeah. But you are more selfish and you are more comfortable with what you're doing here than you were before.
Yeah.
Whereas the other one, I'm like the one who resisted and is still good. I'm like the burden of this adventure is weighing more heavily on you now. And then I derailed them on their train because their bridge blew up, and so they're all going to fall into a canyon. But they're also not wearing their armor or anything because they were just asleep.
Oh man!
So
not having armor is like the absolute worst thing in the world.
Oh, I love doing stuff like that to my players. In my other campaign, they adventured through a sewer for part of it, wearing their gear, and they come out. I'm like, cool. Your gear smells really bad, and like, so they had to actually. They have to get their equipment cleaned, basically, because they're not allowed to do some of the stuff in Waterdeep wearing stuff that smells like they're in the sewer. So they're like, I feel really vulnerable. I'm like, yeah, you have 10 AC. You should feel vulnerable. Like, but it's fun. Got to mess with players.
Oh, yeah.
Mess with them lots.
I've started introducing hell wasps to like things like speed things along if they're taking too long.
Didn't you say that your hell wasp killed one of your players, though?
He did. Yep.
Yeah.
It was an unfortunate circumstance, really, because there was the bard who died kept getting polymorphed by the fairies that our druid had created. To get he'd get knocked out of polymorph, his turn wouldn't come by, he'd get polymorphed back into a polar bear, and just rinse repeat until it was just like he just got whittled down to death, pretty much. And then they couldn't get to him in time, so just a lonely little grub crawled up on him and bit him, and that's what did it.
Yeah, that's hilarious, but also wonderful.
Yeah,
because it's far more simple than a train where I'm probably going to give them like maybe 5-6 rounds to try and figure out what they're doing in that car with initiative, because like the train is currently exploding and derailing off of this into this canyon. I'm like, so they have a set amount of time to try and figure out what they're going to do. Yeah. But it's an artificer, warlock, and a thief. None of them have featherfall or teleportation or really even much healing.
Well, I pray for your party. They will hopefully survive the fall.
We'll see. They made an abjurer really mad, and abjurers can do some messed up stuff with like ward bombs basically and other things like that. So the abjurer basically had paid somebody on the train to deliver a note about his revenge right as they were arriving at this bridge, and then the bridge starts exploding.
Oh,
yeah. Good times.
Yeah.
People are asking if there's a clue for the secret code. There will be. Yeah. I haven't talked about it yet. Yeah.
I gently guided them along for Margaret's code.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, they couldn't figure it out, so I gave them a bit more hints than I should have.
Mm-hmm.
But
I usually try to make sure that I say whatever the phrase is or something at some point over the course of the stream, and then I'm like, cool, that's the hint.
Yeah,
it was said.
I appreciate when they ask for hints in like witty ways. Like TBSC 777 saying, "I have a support issue for you. I'll figure out this directly since filling out inbox. There's a hidden code and I don't know. Please fix it." Right? So it's what do you think like that? That can be like, okay, yeah, I'll give you a little hint, but I'm not gonna do it on the show. Plus, you guys are smart enough, so
yeah, you're not gonna outthink the hive mind. There's too many people thinking about it, So
yeah,
it was said is not the secret word. No, it's true. That's also 3 words.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, you're one of the folks who is actually in the office on a regular basis now.
I love it. It's so much better than working from home.
Yeah?
Yeah. I thought, like when we started it, I was kind of excited. I was like, I just gotta get up, walk to the next room, and I'm booming at work, and it's nice. And then I forgot I have cats and a girlfriend at home. Who just come to bug me every would come upstairs and be like, hey, what about this? What are we doing for dinner? What are we doing for lunch? What are we doing for this? Like, I gotta work, man.
Yeah. I understand. It gets worse when you have a small child.
Oh god, yeah, I can't even imagine.
It's also really wonderful because it's like, I'm gonna have a break. I'm gonna go cuddle my baby.
Oh yeah. It's the ups and downs, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like distractions. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. So like actually being able to like like the tickets were just, like were coming in hot too during that time. So when we got back here, like I was able to clear them like super quick. And I was like, oh, so this is what productivity feels like. Oh, this feels really good.
Yeah, it's being in the office is helpful for your focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed like the ambient noise of like people clicking on keyboards.
Oh, really?
All around. It was so weird. Like,
see, I'm not used to that because I only ever wear headphones here. So
yeah.
I never hear it.
I used to do too, but I think the first day I didn't have any on. I was just sitting there for a second and just hearing everybody kind of clicking on their keyboards and like working and like the odd conversation that pop up. And I was like, oh, I miss the office.
Mm-hmm. Well, someday, unless numbers get so bad that you end up back at home.
Oh God, please no.
Well,
yeah, it's a possibility.
Case numbers aren't going down.
Yeah,
not right now. Yeah,
that's worrisome. But we're smart.
Yeah, they're trying to ask you if you can help their cat type in the code.
Ask me tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
We'll see.
If it's a train in hell, is it literally a pain train? Actually, the joke was that the players who know Infernal could see that it was called Hell Piercer because I thought that was funny, and it's 100 cars long.
Hell Piercer.
But yeah, it's thoroughly modeled off of the infernal equivalent of a 19th century like armored train.
Oh, okay.
Except the engine is, the engine feeds off souls and stuff, and instead of wheels, it's got chitinous like centipede legs.
Oh, it's like crawls.
Yeah,
Ew.
yeah, it just bombs along crawling. Yeah,
I don't like this train. It's gross.
Yeah. Somebody said Snowpiercer in chat. I'm like, that was the joke. Yeah. I like that movie. I haven't watched the TV show, but the movie was good.
I've seen it.
You haven't seen it? It's Bong Joon-ho, man. It's good. It's the guy who did Parasite.
Oh. Ooh.
The movie it's weird. It was neat though. There's a lot of really smart stuff done in it, but it's kind of a strange movie. It's not as good as some of his other work, like The Host. But
okay.
But I'd still recommend it if you like. If you like movies that are just wildly entertaining. It's pretty ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying on the Untitled Champions last week that I don't spend a lot of time watching movies or like Western media anymore. It's like all I do is watch anime nowadays.
But how much good anime is actually made, Shawn? Come on.
Yeah, not a lot. A lot of it kind of hits that mediocre point.
Don't get me wrong. I'm the same way with science fiction. I will watch everything, and a lot of it's bad.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like everything gets the 3-episode rule though, right? You watch 3 episodes. If you don't like it after that one, it gives the plot time to ramp up. And if it's still at that point you're not good, then I'm out.
Well, except that like I didn't like the Orville after 3 episodes. I was like, this show sucks, and it took longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give credit where it's due. It was better later. Somebody's saying, but how good is The Expanse? The Expanse makes up for most shows. It's that good.
Yeah, Expanse is pretty good. I think I think Nevada and I watched 3 seasons of it. I think we're on the 4th season, but we stopped watching because other things started coming out. So
yeah, season 5 is based off of my favorite of the books that they've made out of the 8 books that are out. So 8 or 9 books. Yeah, season 5 was my favorite one.
Okay,
or book 5 rather. Can't remember the name of it. Was it Nemesis Games? I'd have to look it up. The Expanse books. I need to reread them. Actually, it's been a while.
Yeah, I still have to finish Mistborn.
Is that the Brandon Sanderson one that everybody keeps talking about?
Yeah, whoever that guy is, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like a third to a halfway through the book. Then I put it down. I just haven't picked it back up yet. So,
yeah. What's your opinion on Killjoys? I haven't seen the final season of Killjoys. It was fun. The most interesting thing about it, honestly, is the chemistry between Hannah John Kamen and whichever Ashmore brother it is. Because I can't remember which one, if it's Shawn or Aaron Ashmore, whatever. One of the twins. Is it Aaron on that show? But the show was fun. It's dumb, but it knows what it is. It doesn't try to be a lot, and I'm glad to see that Hannah John Kamen at least is getting like movie roles because she was rad. Yeah. But Killjoys is a pretty dumb show, but it's a fun show. I liked it. You're never going to be blown away by a plot twist or one of the other things that happens in it. You're never like floored by something that happens. You're just like, oh, cool, all right. Well,
one of the ones you put on in the background.
Yeah. It's I would qualify it. This is so unfair, but like I would qualify it as one of those shows that like if you're getting work done and it's on, it's not going to stop you from getting work done.
Yeah.
It's one of those shows.
That's actually how Nevada caught up on Critical Role the first time. Like when we first started watching, like a long time ago. They should put on the background, and when just when do cosplay work while watching it.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't exactly need to pay attention to Critical Role.
Yeah, you'll still get most of it, and they spend inordinate amounts of time on things that they think are really amusing that don't really progress the story or anything at all.
Yeah.
Because Catherine's been catching up on Critical Role while breastfeeding.
Oh, nice.
So she gets through a good 10 episodes a week, no problem.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Are you still far behind or no?
4 or 5 episodes back right now. I'm just waiting for her to catch up because she's only a week or two away from being caught up to me. So I stopped just after the Rumble Cusp storyline ended, and they.
Yeah. Oh, that was a good story.
Yeah, with the tearful reunion at the very end.
Yes.
That was the last one that I watched.
I did tear up a little bit. I will not hesitate to admit that show.
I didn't watch the first campaign, although the moment was good. I thought it was more emotional seeing the cast reaction to it than it was for me, because I'm like, I didn't watch the first campaign.
Yeah.
Clearly it affected them.
Yeah, I've the first campaign I actually prefer so far compared to the campaign 2. But also because I think that because we spent so much time already with campaign 1, I've just grown attached to those characters a bit more. Have seen them grow and have seen that finish. So I just feel more attached to them than I do to campaign 2. But campaign 2 is still phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, a lot can be said about what kind of narrative development and character building you have over the course of a series and what they're facing. And campaign 2 hasn't had enough tying everything together yet.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the judge of whether or not it's going to be amazing to everybody or not, is how well it does that. And Matt Mercer's a pretty darn good storyteller.
Oh yeah, so, he will. I have full confidence and faith that he'll thread it. And once they converge, you're gonna.
Yeah. Plus, having read their D&D book, the official one, the Explorer's Guide to Wildmount.
Yeah.
And I've heard about where because I haven't watched the most recent episodes, but I've heard about where they're intending to go. I'm like, that sounds really interesting. Excellent.
I own that book. I just haven't read through all of it yet.
Oh well,
it's a thick.
I kind of recommend not doing it then, because if you read into all of their history and lore in it, it'll give you probably too much insight into where this is going.
Oh no.
But it'll be real cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's probably enough of that. Let's see. Somebody's saying they prefer campaign 2 because it's less black and white, and also campaign 1 begins at an awkward moment.
Yeah, that's true. So we get to through level 8 or 9, in the middle of the mission, pretty much.
Yeah, because they didn't start broadcasting until they were ways into their campaign.
Yeah, because they were playing Pathfinder first.
That, and apparently Felicia Day convinced them to do it.
Yeah.
She's like, "Can you do this on my new Twitch channel, Geek and Sundry, or whatever, or my new YouTube?" Yeah.
Yeah, it'll never stick. There's no way.
Like, okay, I don't think anybody will watch it. Boom, most popular thing ever.
Yeah.
The whole reason D&D is big now. Yeah. Well, maybe not the whole reason, but
yeah,
a lot of the.
It's definitely a big reason that it's the resurgence has come pretty much, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of simultaneous things that have contributed to D&D's current size and popularity. I think when it comes to watching TRPG live play, Acquisitions Incorporated kicked down that door a long ass time ago.
Oh yeah.
But Critical Role made it mainstream. So
yeah. I never actually got into Acquisitions Inc. It's been on my to-do list for a long time, because it is the kind of.
I can't listen to it, but I absolutely love watching their live shows live. It's great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. There's
so much energy in a live show. You'd be surprised. You're gonna watch people play D&D live for 4 hours. Why'd you spend $400 on tickets for that? It's because it's gonna be good.
Yeah. So he's saying many things contribute to D&D's popularity. Don't mention the pandemic. I'm like, the pandemic isn't making D&D more popular right now, I don't think.
No.
It's just it's something that you can play with friends remotely really well.
It's helped me play consistently, which has been nice.
Yeah, me too. Because our Curse of Strahd campaign is in the office is it'll probably turn 3 before we finish it, because that's how long it's been going, because we've had huge long gaps. We took a long gap when Peter could no longer play because he was so deep into development in the console versions of the game, and then we've taken another 6-7 month gap now as COVID hit and we're all spread out.
Yeah, you guys are pretty much done too, right? You only have Like,
Well, we are definitely at the point where it's like time to go to Castle Ravenloft. So that's where we're at. Yeah.
yeah, and that could be another year. Just exploring that place.
Yeah. Alrighty, let's see. People are asking about what's on my screen. What are the two buffs he has at the top of the coin and the 200? Oh, one of them is the thing that says that I'm in a dungeon or indoors or whatever, and now it's saying I'm outside. This is my Modron automation stuff, and then this is the Empowered Clairvoyance. It's a purchase buff.
Yeah.
Because I like to test out the new champions with the high end, like you bought 42 chests thing just to see what they're like. And lo and behold, making one change to my formation, which was replacing Brunner with Esmeralda, I made it like 20 or 30 areas further. I'm like, uh-oh. So, but she's geared up, right? So I don't know what she's like pushing wall wise with all rares, but with epics, yeah, she's good.
I've seen some people are posting that they've already like fully epic Esmeralda. It's been like a day.
I mean, sometimes you're lucky. You know, before I worked at Codename, when I'd like just played the first event, like I got Stokey into full epic just playing it my first ever event and just like luck with chests.
Oh, nice.
You know, but it hasn't happened a lot of times since then. And then I just exercised my my company Codename privilege.
The death fingers, yeah.
Yeah, and just like I'm gonna give myself this set to see, you know, and yeah, lo and behold. Though I've considered resetting my account. I don't know.
You just like find a beginner save and put over it too.
I suppose.
Yeah.
But like also as somebody at Codename, whenever DLC or whatever comes out, it's like blink, this has been added to your account. So it's just, you know, you have all that stuff.
You can add it on, I gotta add it by myself. You can add it on that.
Oh, you gotta get added to the list. Chris Dupuis.
That's fine.
Don't you like Shawn? Come on, man.
Apparently not.
Yeah. Alrighty. Let's see. What does Esmeralda's slot 3 buff? Which part of training montage? Which part?
As he's slot 3 buff? I know it's your training montage, but which part of it? I don't think it shows an information buff. What is the slot 3?
Buffs increase the effect of Esmeralda's training montage. I haven't actually. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't looked at a lot of this. I'm sure it's a post-stack value buff of whatever
Most
kind.
likely, yeah.
Because that's how you don't break things. Because I think it probably just applies to each individual thing, but it'll be a post-stack value.
Yeah.
That'd be my guess, because that seems to be how we do things to not mathematically break stuff as frequently as we do with like things like Krull.
Yeah. I think you're right with most of the equipment does the post-stack. So whatever comes after the stack.
Yeah. So at least it's suggesting I just make a new account. That's actually a good point. I thought about making one on C&E Games just to try it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I also find I don't play as many games. I'm not finishing anything these days. So
Yeah, I mean, that's it.
like this is a little bit blasphemous, but what I've started doing was I started finishing the allied race quests in World of Warcraft because of the like they've made leveling so quick and I don't have a lot of time right now and it gets broken up really easily that I can just like log on and like in half an hour gain like 3, 4, 5 levels. Because they've made it so much faster. And so that's kind of what I've been like doing with my little bits of time here and there lately. Because I don't know. It's been fun.
Yeah.
But
WoW was never a game I got into.
It's
I'm like happy, I'm like sad because
well,
I've seen
I will tell you a cautionary tale then, my friend, because I did get into it, and I got into it bad.
Because everybody says that.
Yeah. Well, so when it first came out, it was actually difficult to get a physical copy, and you couldn't just download the game.
Yeah.
Because it was like 5 CDs or something. I don't know. I can't remember exactly how big it was, but it was big. And so I wasn't able to get one in the first round and go through all the growing pains of them needing more servers and all that stuff. But what I was able to do was like about 3-4 months in, Seath and I got copies. One of my oldest friends. Yep. And we like leveled up together and like I got hooked. And like, granted, at the time, because this was like 16 years ago now.
Yeah.
Because that's how freaking old the game is.
2004.
Yeah. Yeah. God, the game looked so bad back then compared to how it looks now. But
still does.
Well, I'm impressed at how they've managed to keep it reasonably relevant, even if it doesn't look like a modern game. But
So November 23rd, 2004, initial release date.
Yeah. So I would have got it in early 2005, so 15 years ago.
Okay.
You know, I went through a bunch of classes. Like we were both leveling at the same time. I think he stuck with a rogue for a long time, but I like kept trying them, and then eventually we're playing Horde. I played a shaman, and got addicted to it because I liked the way a shaman played, and like went way past him in levels, became a raider, became like one of the like, you know, in one of the top 10 to 15 guilds in the world raider, like had completed all the content in vanilla.
Wow.
And was only a handful of guilds made it through Nax 40 before the Burning Crusade came out, and we got far. We were at the Four Horsemen, so we'd killed all the other bosses. So we were 2 or 3 bosses from finishing it, which was very, very elite company at that time. Like I remember what it was like to play a shaman and be able to like roll into PvP and be like, you 3 come at me, boom, you're dead, because they were so overpowered at vanilla, and then they got nerfed and they've never been good since. But
you got the glory days.
Oh yeah. Well, but also at the time, the community system was completely different. You played on a server; those were the only people you saw, so you knew who the people on your server were. You couldn't talk to people in the other faction, and so like, you know, if you're known to be the extraordinarily well geared warlock or shaman or warrior or whatever in PvP at that time, players would see your name, turn around, and just start running.
Oh no, it's Zach.
Yeah, like I still remember that there was a warrior named Master Chief, who was the first player on the server to get the legendary Sulfurous Hand of Ragnaros 2-handed flaming mace from the first.
Ooh.
Which is like, it's a guild effort to get that stuff. You know, people have to let you do it and work with you. But like, he was the first one to get it, and then like you couldn't fight him in PvP because he just kill you. Like no problem, just smash you. Although I killed him so many times. But that's anyways. Shamans were overpowered at the time.
Yeah.
And I did that for a while, and then eventually all my friends stopped playing, and so I stopped playing. It took 7, 8, 9 years off, like a huge amount of time. And then at this point, every once in a while, I kind of poke in and just kind of like play through an expansion to see what it's like. But I got back into raiding for the year leading up to when I started working at Codename, and I was doing mythic raids, and like parsing in the top 0.02% of shaman DPS players, and it stopped being fun, and I haven't played it since. Until recently, I'm like, I'll level a bit, and that's fine, but it doesn't require like hardcore schedule commitments to play all the time and all that stuff. Like, I see somebody in chat saying that rating's a joke now. It kind of, I wouldn't say that it's a joke, but it's not difficult the way that it was, because the game has evolved so much. It's you know, I played through the initial campaign of Battle for Azeroth when it came out, didn't like it, and I'm like, also shamans suck, so I stopped.
The hard part too with rating is like, now that we're adults, like the timeline is so much tighter. It has to be like fit for everybody. I mean,
yeah,
so
16 years ago, I had way more free time than I do now. Yeah, 40-man raids were cool in the sense that it was just like, it was that much more complex to organize that many people, and like you had to like have like formation strategies for how people moved around and stuff, because people could run into stuff. But like these days, the interface and the UI of World of Warcraft has evolved so much that you know, there's so many hints on screen about what's going to happen, that which it's both good and bad, because I think that they do a much better job now of like, as you play through the game, training you how to deal with different things, so that when a boss is like and he's charging up and this like cone in front of him starts like lighting up, it's like, maybe move out of that.
Yeah.
You know. And so like there's that part of it, and then, whereas back in the day they didn't do stuff like that. Like you had to, you know, anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't get super into it. Don't get super into anything like that. That was too much.
My current
being a top tier raider is not an experience I recommend to anybody.
Oh yeah, unless you're in like esports level stuff, then go for it.
Sure. I mean, you know what? If that's your passion, go for it. Yeah. I'm like, I can't see a reason to try that hard anymore. Somebody asked me to play Classic. I'm like, I can't bring myself to play Classic because I played Vanilla WoW. And I don't have any of that gear anymore. I'll be damned if I'm ever going to try and get all that stuff. Because like, I remember spending, 6 months in Blackwing Lair trying to get my one weapon to drop so that I could finish a set. And because it was the best thing that I could get for, never doing any of that again. No thanks.
Yeah, let me camp this for months. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like big MMOs like that where you have to spend like months waiting for things to drop was never something I got into.
Well, I don't
I
think
think I'm kind of lucky. I'm kind of happy about it 'cause it's
I think the rarity thing is kind of fun. It's just they have since kind of like the game has become so much about collecting things that
Mhm.
like if you want to get every mount, well, guess what? A whole bunch of them are like ludicrously rare, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
just or require really elaborate, long, months long efforts to get kind of stuff. So.
Mhm.
Friends tell me classic is easier now since the strategy is internet and everything has already been done. Sure, yeah, but it's just like I had raided enough through each one of the raids in classic that I had everything I could use from them, and it took months of playing 40-man raids. Like you're talking about like what amounts to like probably like 18 months of effort of playing a lot, like a lot. I will never ever go anywhere near that again. No freaking way. Not worth it.
It's much of a time sink when you're an
Yeah.
adult.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing that bugs me the most about it is that like you didn't have a lot of bank space for gear back then, so eventually you had to like delete things to get to make space. So I don't have any of that gear on my account anymore, which
Oh
means
no.
that like when they're like, "Hey, what do you want to put on your item sets?" It's like those are the ones that don't show up because there wasn't an achievement system when I had and got rid of that stuff. So none of that was tracked. So not like I'm ever going to do that again to get it. Like no way. So
Yeah.
yeah,
David's walking by.
yeah,
Then
yeah.
faces at me.
No more WoW. No more WoW. Stay away. But the ultra super mega casual leveling that it is right now is actually kind of like almost therapeutic in that like I'm gonna go do like these 5 quests. Oh, I gained 3 levels. I'm like that's not so bad. That actually feels kind of all right. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of good feelings when you like you spend a little bit of time. Like, oh, I accomplished something today. I leveled up 3 times. I'm good to go.
Yeah. 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 These days, what are we doing? What do I play? I play Destiny 2 sometimes.
Yeah.
Waiting for Cyberpunk like everybody else.
Yeah. Well,
Played the Baldur's Gate 3 beta for a bit. Did you play that? Or sorry,
not
not beta,
yet.
early access. I don't know.
I've it's on the list. But I've heard like from what I've seen of it, people have been like it's okay, and I've heard people be like it's really buggy. So I haven't decided. I'm gonna play it when it comes out, 100% for sure.
Yeah.
I just haven't touched it yet.
I recommend that. I wanted to try it out just to see if Larian was making something that I would like,
Yeah.
because I didn't expect it. I expected it to be more Divinity than Baldur's Gate, which it is. But they found a pretty nice balance. I just found some of the system stuff is a little. I find personally a little challenging for me in terms of how I think about games and my expectations going into it based on what I know of 5e and stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, I made a warlock, and I gave myself the I'm forgetting the name right now, but whichever invocation that allows you to knock back stuff with your
Oh
Eldritch
yeah, yeah.
Blast,
I don't
and I'm
remember.
just like popping people off cliffs and stuff left, right, and center, and they take their fall damage and die, and like it's pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
But
I very much appreciate how Larian shamed the entire player base with the like this is the most common thing you've made, and it's like a human male with like brown hair.
oh yeah, Caucasian human male that
Yeah.
looks like generic dude 5. Yeah, I'm also not surprised that like people tend to try and make characters that look like themselves, and so
Yeah.
if
But
you
it
have
also
better
falls in,
options for one thing than another, then that's
yeah.
yeah.
But it also falls in the 5e thing where like humans are really really good to pick as a starting race.
Actually,
So
they suck in this because variant human's not a thing. You
okay.
can't be a variant human and pick your stats and get a feat. You're the base human class that gets +1 to everything. So
Okay.
human is actually really mediocre in Baldur's
I'm
Gate
fine with
3's
that then.
early access. But there's a lot of stuff still missing from it, so that's why I like multi-classing, and
Mhm.
also I like playing like paladin and bard and sorcerer, none of which are available in the beta or in the early
Okay.
access. No multi-classing in early access, and the races are the generic races that I don't really like playing
Or
as,
Valve.
like elves, half elves, dwarves, humans, tieflings. It's like I could take them or leave them. They just
Yeah.
don't do it for me. Because I prefer playing like monstrous races and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah, let me play a Cobalt. It'll be a lot of fun.
I would love to play a kobold through that game, or
Yeah,
a bugbear or something. I think that would be sweet.
that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't. I imagine they're not going to put the monstrous races in it because then you would realistically need to have the game react to the fact that you're a monster everywhere you go, and it doesn't seem like it's does that. Like I didn't. What did I make my character? I think I made my character a half elf, and then I like used the crazy character options to make them as much look like as much like a weird red pink demon as possible or something. But nobody reacted to the fact that like my skin color looks a certain way, or
Yeah.
you know, it's just I don't know.
That's good. There's no judgment in Baldur's Gate.
Sure. Yeah.
But I get the point you're coming across though.
Yeah. It's anyways. It definitely feels like an expensive demo right now, but
yeah.
I guess I've already paid for the game, so the game will be free when it comes out.
Yeah,
And
that's
I hope
not bad. That's kind of why I'm holding off a little bit. I just know it's going to take a lot of my time, and I'm playing other stuff. Like,
it's everything, and it's slow. My God, like, yeah, it's going through a dungeon and stuff is. I mean, it's probably faster than doing it in live play D&D with a group of people, but I wouldn't say it's a lot faster.
Yeah. I'm learning that again. My home gamer, we're in a dungeon right now, and he's just everyone's like, oh, what's this? Oh, what's this? Oh, what's this? And they're just touching everything in a crypt, and it's not good.
Yeah. Well, you know, it depends on. It's fun. I actually kind of like it when I have a mix of veteran and new D&D players in a game, because then you have people who are there who are going to make the noob mistakes, and then you have to also have the people who are hyper careful, and like, I like the mix. Yeah.
Oh, it's a lot of fun seeing them be like, what, like, why are you doing this? Like picking up a rose that's been in a dungeon for 300 years, and it's like, it's still fine. You pick up the rose and race.
Yeah. Yep. And I don't know. And you gotta both reward and punish curiosity so that people are still willing to do stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like you can tempt them with an amazing cooked meal for a team of people who haven't had a nice meal in a long time and a warm bath and all that stuff. But then your option is unicorn.
Yeah.
And if they say yes, it's like, you're evil now. Suck it up. Actually, the good character's like, can I have something that like
vegan?
They're trying to find something that's like cruelty free, and I just made it so they're like, you want something that like died naturally, or like they're just so disgusted, like
appalled, like how
dare you? That wasn't tortured first. I don't understand, you know. But that was fun.
Yeah, Hades and Genshin Impact have been my two like go-to games right now.
Hades, I can't recommend enough. Game of the year.
I don't know if that's a hard with Cyberpunk coming out, but
I'd say it's game of the year based on what's come out so far this year, and
totally, yeah,
easily in the conversation no matter what comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see what the Cyberpunk experience is like.
Yeah,
massive AAA RPGs that push the technology and all that stuff have a hard time not winning game of the year. But no, I'd go with Hades. Somebody saying, I see somebody in chat saying Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal's awesome. But Hades made roguelites good. Like, you know, it's brilliant. Yeah, Hades is. I mean, granted, different games for different people. Like,
yeah.
If I want an ultra intense, mega violent experience that is relentless, I will play Doom Eternal. I'm actually really close to finishing that. I should get back to it and finish it. I forgot about it.
That's another game I have to pick up. There's so much I have to pick up and play.
Yeah.
You think with all the free time of being at home, you have time to play like everything, but
yeah,
nah, man.
Somebody asking why Hades is good. Hades gameplay is extremely refined. It's been in early access for a long time. Its official launch was more recently.
Yeah.
There are 6 different types of weapons, and there are hundreds, if not thousands, of possible combinations of abilities you can pair with them each adventure. And then each one of the weapons has a whole bunch of different types. And like, I wasn't sold on Hades until I played it. You gotta play it.
Yeah. No, for sure. I like the way they like kind of weaved in like the Greek mythology and stuff. The voice acting is really good.
Supergiant's voice acting is always perfect.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just phenomenal VO across the board.
Yeah. And they picked really well for all the voices.
Yeah. Anyways, nobody should be surprised when it gets nominated for Game of the Year, and nobody should be surprised if it actually won.
Yeah.
I
feel like Hades is in a hard spot for that because like there's so much hype around Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
I think that's
it's been in development. When did that trailer come out for it?
It was like 8 years.
8 or 9 years ago.
Yeah.
With the lady's arms ripping open with the blades in it and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Super stylistic trailer. But yeah, that's not a new trailer.
Yeah.
And like
the trailer came out in 2013.
yeah, okay, yeah, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
It's yeah, I'm sure it'll be a good game. We'll see. But
It's got Keanu Reeves. Can't go wrong.
and his motorcycle company.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm sure there'll be other exciting things coming out.
Yeah. When's Idle Champions gonna get Game of the Year? What's going on?
I mean, I suppose technically we came out of early access this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is our year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is our year in many ways. I think there are more people playing consistently right now than have been in a long time.
Oh, than ever before, yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of things are going well. But, you know, some of our more recent features had a lot of unintended effects that, you know, we're still ironing out. But it's nice to be, you know, close to feature complete and, you know, for everything to be running relatively smoothly. You know, finally got Modron Automation out on Switch, which is nice to finally get finished. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like we published that last update for Switch. It was the first time in a while where everything was kind of like on the same patch. So that was nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
321 Press is asking, is there co-op in Hades? I don't think there is. I think it's strictly single player.
I don't think so. I think it's only single player. But I think like one thing that it can do that like they actually have a streaming integration so people can mess with your stream and impact your gameplay.
Wait, in
if you
Hades?
have subs. I think Hades is one of the games that has that. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's so cool.
Not a lot of games do it because it's a lot of extra work to make streaming more entertaining. But you know, having a game that streams well can make your game really popular. Look at Among Us.
Oh,
you know,
I love watching Among Us videos.
Yeah. I have no desire to ever play it, but it is really fun to watch.
It's definitely one of those games you want to play with like a group of friends, so you can just like yell at each other and have like fun with it. And you know it's gonna be a good time. But like, I tried playing it with randoms, and I don't think it's as fun.
Yeah. Anyways, we should probably answer some questions. I'm just gonna look here and say, let's see.
Watching the list grow, and it's like, oh no.
Some variants in this event have skins as reward. If I previously beat one of the variants in a time gate, I can't seem to claim the skin. Is this a bug?
Make me a ticket. Yeah, that's a bug.
That sounds like a bug.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought it was only Pirate Bruner. Are there other skins? Yes.
Yeah, it's Zombie Averin in this one as well.
I got a whole bunch of skins in this one. I got the Valkyriela. I got Steampunk Zorbu. I got Zombie Averin. I got Moose Rill.
The Canadian version.
Yeah.
But yeah, in this event there's
Canadian Tyrrell. Yeah.
Yeah. In this event though, there's specifically Pirate Brunar and Zombie Averin.
Yeah.
You can get by doing, I think it's like the third variant for each of them. So yeah, so if you've done it in the time gate and you didn't get them, just leave me a ticket.
Yeah. Dylan, did anyone ever get your second evil code? Nope. Let's see. Hi, Dylan and Shawn. I hope you're doing well. Thank you. Yeah, pretty good.
Great.
A little low energy today. Not getting a lot of sleep these days because, 9-month-old child. But that's what I signed up for. Let's see. What else we got here? Rarity is fun when it randomly happens. It isn't fun when you have to camp something specific. Oh, that's talking about WoW. Back to WoW. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I think if you have to, like, there's a bunch of instances throughout the history of WoW that they don't do as frequently now, where like a monster will be on some sort of unusually long spawn timer, and it'll have a guaranteed drop of some kind. And what happens is you end up with people who have like alternate characters logged out at that spot that they check in on constantly to see if it's spawned, because they have data mined how long it takes for them to spawn. And so they know roughly what windows to start camping something for. And like, I think that is not awesome.
Yeah.
It seems like a bit much. I would much prefer that somebody's effort is not, I like it better when the effort is, something that you can chip away at and that isn't gated with pure random timing, whether or not you're ever going to see it, versus like something that you can put your time in. Like I like it. I like things like pity timers and stuff personally as a gamer. I don't like doing the same raid in Destiny over and over again and never getting 1,000 voices, which I still don't have. But I like, it's time. Your time should be rewarded. Period.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. All right. What else we got here for questions? Let's see. I got Zorbu and his gold. Any advice on layout? I usually don't buy things, but I heard he's the best DPS. Yeah, he is currently the de facto best DPS champion. Period. He's. The first thing you want to do really is farm up his numbers.
Yeah, get into. I think the good base is like EO5, EO6. It's a good place to sit him at for his stuff, and then once you put him besides like your best buffers, and let him do his job. Just
laugh as he kills everything.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't attack super fast to tear down armored stuff, but he could fire a bolt through an entire group of enemies on one tank. So
yeah, that's actually. I mean, that's his achievement though, right? It's like shoot through like 30 in like one go.
Yeah. Let's see. Can we get a quality of life update where bounty contracts and blacksmith contracts start at the maximum number of contracts you use, so at 10? Because it's tedious to push the bar to 10 dozens of times. I don't know that that's how that would be addressed. I think it's more likely if we do anything to that you can either type in the number that you use or something like something that's a quality of life change that makes a lot more sense. Starting at maximum you don't want to, I don't know. Yeah. I feel like Shawn would end up with more tickets if it started at max than if it starts
it's the opposite effect too. Like you want to start at max, but other people don't want it to be at max.
Yeah.
Like, there's always going to be the subset of players who have the opposite feeling.
Yeah. Somebody asking when they can expect more content for Rise of the Frost Maiden. When this event ends. Let's see. Running into an issue where Xanathar's Goldfish isn't adding to the roaming bar, random ultimate every 30 seconds on my auto team at the start of the game, possibly because nobody has any ultimates at that point being recruited. Is there anything that can be adjusted back end to fix this? I mean, you can't add a familiar to a bar that doesn't exist. So if that's the problem you're running into, that's not a bug. You just need to have some ultimates, and then. Like if your formation is saved with familiars on your bar, just hit the button again once you have some ultimates, and then they'll start popping up onto it.
Oh, they heard Faith give a good woof. Yeah, whoever was outside.
Yeah. It was a barking dog.
Yeah, that's Faith.
A subwoofer. Har 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 har.
And timeout. No.
Did you ever remember what your second evil code is? No, I didn't, Garwar, but if it had showed up in one of the code sharing channels, I would have recognized it. Because knowing me, it'll be something really cheeky. Let's see. Missing an Esmeralda skin on her third variant. Yeah, there isn't one. It's not something that we do for every champion in every event, but we do it for... Yeah, we do it sometimes. It's every once in a while. Let's see, what else we got? Another quality of life request. When opening chests, can we get a button right next to the See All Loot button that would open 50 more and skip the See All Loot screen? I don't know, maybe. I mean, we can pass that along. I don't know. It's opening lots of chests at a time is something that has become a very fast process compared to how it used to be. And like, while I get that somebody would like to be able to like hit 5 times to open 250 chests, there are pitfalls to setting things up like that. Anytime there's an opportunity for somebody to like possibly unintentionally open 50 more of something and then send a ticket to Shawn is something that we would rather err on the side of caution of versus providing more opportunities for those kinds of accidents.
Yeah.
Ideally Shawn's time is spent working on people who have the most egregious bugs so that the developers can help fix them. Ideally.
Yeah. Which means I'm going to go back to my desktop. I'm going to have a lot of, I didn't get the AVENIR screen. Saying I got to spend the rest of the day and tomorrow going, yes, here you go. I knew it was going to come up when I came on the stream. Like I'm opening up the door for bugs for tickets for me today.
Yeah. They like you though. They like talking to you.
Yeah,
They like it when you reward them.
that is true. A kid like when we love talking to Shawn. Oh, I love talking to you guys too. That's what I get tomorrow for too.
Silisa has a blunt, snarky question. What is it? What was Silisa's words, not mine, by the way. I
Yeah.
hate to be blunt, but was Esmeralda designed a long, long time ago and just released recently? I have serious questions about her mechanics as she seems to have ridden in a DeLorean, traveled 88 miles per hour, and zoomed 3 years into the future. Um, no, she was designed pretty recently. Uh, yeah, uh, and I can't really speak to much of her design. I only contributed one thing. Her ultimate was my idea. Um, but can you be more specific, say, Lisa? Like, what is it that you were expecting that you're not seeing, or that you're
I think,
seeing that you weren't expecting? Like,
yeah, I've seen a lot of I've seen a lot of stuff on like Discord and stuff from it. And it seems like the numbers aren't the best. The effect is based off of one type of enemy rather than all enemies. That kind of stuff. Because it's not available for absolutely everything. And
yeah, I mean, you're supposed to have to choose between things.
yeah,
What I noticed was I replaced Bruner with her in my formation and made it like 20, 30 areas further. So,
yeah. Sasaspia is my go-to slot one champion.
really?
Yeah, I think she's really good.
Nobody's ever said that to me before. Are you
I know.
sure?
I keep seeing Sasaspia sucks, and like it's like I don't know, man. Like I like Sasaspia. I think the healing's really good. I think the debuff's good.
I mean,
So
I don't think she sucks, but really, Sasaspia?
yeah,
Huh.
always in my party.
Interesting. Interesting.
Thank you, Veltor. See, sis,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean.
Don't get me wrong. We all have our favorites.
Yeah.
I have a hard time not using Tyrrell.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
I specifically just don't use Tyrell because it's just too much.
you know.
But then again, I use Ayla as my tank for the most part. Ayla or Brit for sure. Just as good.
Yeah. They're both really good.
Yeah.
Let's see. Somebody's asking if there's a legend that tells what all the debuff symbols on enemies are. There is not. No. They're champion specific, so each one of them is unique, and you kind of just learn them as you play. You learn who does which one.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's really like the most. One bit of feedback we've had a number of times is about some way to like see all the debuffs on an enemy because they kind of stack physically on top of each other and you can't necessarily see them all.
I mean, yeah, when you have like Krull, Freely, Ayla, Sasaspia, like all the debuffs stacking,
Yep.
they can get pretty
Yeah. Will there be more blessing tiers for Oriel's favor? Yep, eventually. We didn't really plan to release like 3, 4 tiers or a bunch of tiers all at once for the first adventure, literally the first adventure of Rime and the Frost Maiden, but there will be more. Yeah.
to entice you to keep playing the story.
Yeah. Alrighty. Bum, 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 bum. Asking for quality of life updates to the store for making purchases with gems.
Didn't we do that already? Isn't that what
I thought we did. I thought we just. Hold on a second. Let me just.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I'm looking at the thing that they're talking about. So is it just? Oh, yeah, I know what it is.
Oh, it's like to be a bit more specific on it, or
Yeah, it's just like there's no like toggle up or down, and like you don't hit left or right to do it. So that's what the request is around. Okay,
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
yeah. Let's make a note on that one. Let's see. I'm missing a bunch of common ultimate cooldown reduction items. Am I just unlucky with the drops, or are the drops for them disabled at the cap even when you don't have them?
If it's capped, they don't drop anymore. And that's it.
Oh.
What you think is like 500 levels? Maybe less?
That's interesting because the common item, like if you're a completionist who's trying to collect everything, getting the common ones that you didn't already have because you opened, say, rare chest first or not silvers or whatever, it can be really, really difficult to get them because it's easy to get the upgrades past them and then you never see them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's an interesting one. We've always said that we don't have any plans to do anything about that, and as far as I know, that hasn't changed. But
Yeah, I don't think that's changed at all. It's a matter of like like Gar always does like open up your silvers first. Like if your goal is completion like that, you gotta do silvers first. You gotta fill them in as you go.
Yeah. Let's see. Maybe let us type a number and then add an "Are you sure?" pop-up box.
Are you sure? Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Let's see. I just came back to the game recently, and I have chests for characters I don't have. If I open them, will they become invalidated because I don't have that character? No, if you open them, you will have those items whenever you eventually unlock that character.
If you have chests for like weekend chests and include champions you don't have though, those champions won't be in that chest. So
Let's see. Hitting the save manually works, but that's not helpful if you're trying to leave a formation in the background. Yeah, fair enough. Let's see. How about an option to make the game more friendly to people with motion sickness issues?
that's a hard one.
That is a hard one. I wouldn't say that our game has a lot of motion in it, but
Yeah.
I'm assuming that the disabling screen shake and flashing, like all the toggles that we have, are not adequate. Is that the case? Secret Rue? Because like I don't have motion sensitivity, and I don't know that anybody in the office does. So like it's not necessarily something that we will understand easily. All the left to right swooping. You mean like distractions? Is that what you mean?
Or it might be like the champions jumping out, jumping back, jumping out, jumping back. Or the boxes.
Yeah, I mean, motion sensitivity is an interesting thing in that when the area is completed. Oh, the black screen transition. So the black screen transition actually is a loading screen that it stays black based on how long it takes you to load the next area.
Yeah.
So when it goes by quickly, it's because your machine loaded it really quickly. Yeah. So I don't think we have any plans to get rid of that or do anything about that. I think we've talked about it before. How the option boxes go left to right. Like, I mean, if it's a whole bunch of stuff, I'm not really sure what we can do about it.
Yeah, that sounds like an issue with that is those are very specific issues to the singular person, whereas everyone's style of motion sickness is different. So having to like try and accommodate for a lot of that is a lot, right?
Yeah, I know that we added the disable flashing and some other stuff that doesn't cover every single thing in the game, but it turns off a lot of stuff.
It does, yeah.
Based on player feedback. And so if there's some very specific feedback you can give us about motion that is bothering you, there might be something we could do. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see what else we got. More quality of life stuff. Arrow keys to chest purchase screen. Oh yeah, I just did that one. Some people are asking repeats or repeating the question because it didn't get answered right away. Let's see. New player just started playing. Heartbroken to see I missed the Moose Reel skin. It'll eventually show up. Yeah.
I do like that second part. Just Venmo me.
Yeah. Can I send Shawn a ticket?
Yeah. Leave it into unmarked briefcase outside the office.
Yeah. The only way you can send Shawn a ticket for a Moose Reel skin is if you didn't for some reason get it when you had actually claimed the weekly chests and stuff. Because it will eventually show up in the in-game gem store, most likely. It'll show up in
Or
game
people
somewhere.
that had logged on for like one day of the event, got the first day buff, and then never logged on for the rest of the week, and then would make a ticket and go, "Hey," I had like, "Sorry."
Yeah. Let's see. Okay.
Because you had the symbols description. Oh, that's not bad actually.
Let's see. So follow-ups on. lots of balancing stuff right now.
Yeah.
When you compare it to other characters that have a single enemy type, Minsk, Ashara, Zorbu, each one has evolved over the years to either dramatically increase their buff or include other types, also adventure-specific buff increases rather than global stacking buffs like Zorbu. Yeah, but none of those champions are slot 1 champions. And, you know, Esmeralda doesn't compete with Zorbu for a slot because you can have them both in the same formation if you want. The only champions that you can fairly measure Esmeralda up against are the other ones in slot 1. So for your formations, how does Esmeralda compete with Deacon, with Brunor, with Cazaspia, with Cathris? You know, like, you know, it's not, you know, Minsk, Ashara, and Zorbu aren't even in the same slots. So it's very different things.
Yeah. I think it's unfair, definitely, to like compare Esmeralda to someone.
Yeah. If Esmeralda was a slot 12 champion, then yeah, she would be balanced based on needing to compete with Zorbu. But she's not a slot 12 champion. And like a lot of the slot 1 champions, like aside from Cazaspia who heals, most of them are just like dedicated support. You know. So have somebody who has a support that impacts the game based on debuffs and stuff it's actually pretty different. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I was actually worried that like because she was interacting with debuffs, it actually pushed people's walls quite a bit more. Because like we're in a very debuff heavy like meta of the game, right? So
yeah, that's a whole other conversation. But you know, it's also a hard conversation to entertain very much when you don't have either Justin or Chris Dupuis on stream.
Oh, totally.
Because it's like that is entirely their wheelhouse, and I'm just going to stay off it.
Someone touched that, the 10-foot pole.
Well, I mean, part of it is that like the only person in our office who is a game balance, like a gameplay balance specialist, is Justin. So, you know, we can all talk about what our opinions are on the subject, but at the end of the day, like he's the one who has the massive numbers of spreadsheets and tracks everything and all the champion upgrades and how all the abilities interact and all that stuff. And I have learned since coming to Codename that like while I frequently will not understand why Justin does something a specific way, or I will question it, when I play it in the game, he is often right. So
there's a reason for everything, right?
Yeah,
so.
I give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't. I wouldn't discount Esmeralda at this point. I think people should try her out a little more before they draw their conclusion.
Yeah.
She's been out for a day, and
I think people just look at the number and go, number's not good, like compared to Averin. So
sure, but like Averin is a pure support in a completely different slot.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
And you can have them both, like I do right now. So, let's see. Somebody following up saying that you could add the debuff symbols to the descriptions for champions. That is actually, I'm gonna make a note about that.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea.
Because like, you know, rather than just having to like know and understand and instantly learn somehow what all the debuff numbers are, if you went into Esmeralda's thing and like in her formation effects, it's like training montage and it had a little thing, just as an example. But if it was in here somewhere, that would really, really help. Let's see.
I've never used this up with 3 screens before. I actually really like it.
Oh, you're on Dave's mobile.
Yeah, I'm on Dave's rig, and it's
the mobile rig.
The 3 screens, I like it.
Yeah.
It's making me think about getting new monitors and a stand at home.
Yeah. So I don't mean to sound dismissive to the player who is giving us motion sensitive stuff. It's not something that we are experts in. So if you have like as detailed as possible feedback on that topic as you can give us, please send us a ticket or an email about it. idlechampions@codenameentertainment.com.
Yeah, totally.
So that we can bring it to our developer team and talk about it at least. Because I don't think we have anybody in the office who has that kind of sensitivity. And it's like, you know, if there's a way that we can help that isn't gonna, like, what's probably not going to happen is I doubt that our entire UI is going to be redone.
Yeah.
But maybe there are some things that we can take into account when doing other aspects of the game. Maybe there's some more subtle changes we could do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What was the hint for the hidden code? Oh, that's a good question that I'm not going to answer. Um, let's see.
Wasn't witty enough. That's all.
Yeah. Could we get an easy way to see alignment like AD&D, short after race class, chaotic evil, chaotic neutral, lawful good, etc. So you mean like in the in this screen? Because like we have alignment here.
Yeah.
What we don't have is whether or not a champion is short, but what we do have is in the buff descriptions when we say for short champions, it lists, halflings, gnomes, kobolds, goblins. It like lists it. So, yeah, I don't know. I would need a little more context to see why we would want to try and find other ways to call that information out again, beyond where it's already being mentioned. Let's see. Let's see. Bum, 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 bum. When you unlock all of the evergreen epics so that they are removed from the gold chest epic pool, is there an increased chance of finding a feats? Epic items don't get removed from the gold chest pool. You still have the same percentage chance to get an epic equipment card. It's just once you have all the ones for core and evergreen champions, then it's truly random what can show up, as opposed to just being an upgrade for something that you don't have yet.
Yeah.
So it doesn't increase the chance of finding feats, and there's no pity timer related to feats. It's what is it, a 1 in 25 chance, Shawn?
1 in 25, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Can you fix the formation naming feature in iOS?
For some reason, the text jumps to parts of the screen when clicking the.
It's the first I've heard of that one.
Yeah, same here. Is it the text box that's moving, or like?
Yeah, I'm just gonna make a note here where it says your name.
I mean, make me a ticket, put it on the public beta, put it on the bug list.
Yeah.
Public list, and we'll take a look at it.
Idea. Bronze chest that does commons and uncommons, possibly.
That's a silver chest.
Yeah, no, they want something lower than silver that can guarantee that they get their commons. Right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Quality of life improvement requests. Can we get champion information window screen on all the champion abilities?
It's a lot of info, to be fair.
Yeah. There is a lot of information there.
Yeah.
Like beyond being able to see advanced, like do you have advanced effects descriptions on? I'm just clicking on a champion that's not unlocked. Because if you have advanced effects descriptions, it does a pretty good job of explaining how things interact. So
Curl's on a good look for that.
Yeah. But it's down here. Effect descriptions, basic or advanced. So definitely want that on an advanced to better...
it'll give you the breakdown of like the post-stack value, the pre-stack bonuses, whole shebang. So
get
a better idea of how that number shows up.
Yeah, it's like current bonus, stuff like that, and it changes live while you're doing stuff.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Do the Walnut and Evelyn skins from the Champion of Renown packs have a chance to appear in wild offers? Nope. They are available in Champions of Renown packs currently.
Yeah.
The general rule, and please keep in mind that this is not written in stone. This is not an edict. Nobody went out into the desert and came back with these tablets. But the general idea is that a golden epic equipment card or a skin that showed up somewhere where you had to spend money to get it will show up eventually in wild offers, and one that showed up as either a participation thing or part of a limited event or unlockable through gameplay, those ones will eventually show up in the gem store. That's the really rough general outline. So like Yum Yum Hot Donar that was only available at PAX Australia for a week a couple of years ago, gem store,
Wasn't Rockstar Gym was also at PAX?
Rockstar Gym was the code that we gave away at PAX West, South, and East over 2019 into the beginning of this year, I think.
Yeah.
Back when cons were a thing.
Oh, I miss conventions.
Yeah.
I want to go to one so bad.
Yeah. I do and I don't. There are things I miss about them and things I don't miss. And
I don't miss being tired throughout an entire convention.
Or getting like 30,000 steps a day.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I could do 30,000 steps.
Yeah.
To be honest.
What I miss is actually the con convention circuit family of people that you would see at all of them. I miss running into the team from D&D Beyond, and running into Jean Paul from Gale Force 9, and and like all the people that we know who own all these different companies who tend to go to all these different
all
conventions.
like the kind of the high level industry stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I miss those folks. I miss seeing Scott and Corey from Toonhounds. I miss miss running into Lauren at everything, because Lauren is at what was at everything.
Yeah.
And D&D Live was great. I missed that. I miss D&D Live. Alrighty. Let's see. Any thoughts on changing Briv's mechanics to work better with Modron automation using him? Players that script have an extreme advantage over players just using Modron. While I don't expect a 1-to-1 parity. Are you familiar with this one? Because I'm not.
Yeah, like players that script have an extreme advantage no matter what you're doing. So that's just the way that works. So because other players are scripting, we're probably not going to make changes to how Briv works. Because if someone's choosing to play the game that way, then that's on them. But this game's not a competition.
Yeah, it would be different if this was a multiplayer game where there were
or we had like a ladder system or
you're
the number one player in the game kind of thing. But it's not. It's all
the only people that someone has to make happy are themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, I think from my understanding of the script is like they have the script steps. They kind of like allow Briv to get attacked to get more jumping stacks to then reset and then kind of rinse repeat. Whereas a player had to manually do that and figure that out. But that's my understanding of it. But that's not something we would ever. I don't think we'll ever change the game to kind of like because a scripter is doing something.
Yeah, we want there to also be rewards for active play versus inactive play, and like we want Modron automation to be a little different than what your active formation is like, and one of the interesting things, especially as I understand it, because I can't remember if it was Justin or if it was Chris who was talking about it, when it comes to champions that have any kind of unique speed up mechanic, by default, offline progress and Modron automation don't know how those work, because they're individual, very specific cases that need to be uniquely programmed into those features in order to work properly with them. So there's also that part. Like there's a lot of dev time that goes into fixing things like this. So I'm not saying that nothing will ever change with Briv, because
anything's possible.
Anything is possible, yeah. And we'll see, but certainly, as far as I know, it's not such a massive difference that they want to make a change.
Yeah.
We definitely don't develop the game based on what somebody who is scripting is able to accomplish in it.
Yeah. Dr. Yoshihide has a good point. Like, if this was a competitive game, we would just be banning the people who scripted. Like, you would have to.
Yeah. And it'd be really easy to tell who it is, because the data on the back end is very clear on who does stuff like that.
Yeah. We see you. We know.
Yeah. Oh God, there's so many questions I haven't got to. So many. I know that you have other things to do. So if you want to run, because you've been on for an hour and a bit, you're free to. It depends.
I think I hang out a little bit more.
All right. Let's see.
A little break.
Better way to see formation circles in snowfields. I'm gonna make a note there.
I think that's on our list.
A bestiary. Oh, I'm sorry, but it'll probably never happen.
Yeah.
That is a lot. It's never mind how much work it is. That is a crazy amount of data and memory you would need immediate access to. Mm-hmm. There are platforms that would just straight up never be able to be used on.
The player run wikis really good for that stuff.
Yeah.
I use it a lot.
Yeah. Let's see. The moose skin is awesome, and I want more animals in the game.
Yeah. Oh, some of the upcoming skins we got coming. Oh, so ready for them.
What's that? Sorry.
So some of the skins that we're coming out with. I'm so excited.
Yeah. We got a bunch of really cool ones coming before the end of this year.
Yeah.
I have notifications off in the art channel, but every once in a while when I pop over to it, I'm like, ooh.
I'm not in the art channel.
There is an art.
I get the surprise when Dupree's like, "Hey, this is coming out." I go, "Whoa, that's so cool!"
Yeah. It's art, y'all.
Yeah. Oh,
Um, let's see. A time frame for a fix for familiars, making it so bosses don't move and champions won't attack them. I don't know
yeah.
that it's possible to give an ETA on a fix.
Yeah. That
Uh,
was something we
you know,
thought we got a fix in for. So it's happening less often, as far as we're aware, but it's still around. So yeah, it's still on the list. It's been we tracked it down to being something to do with knockbacks. So once yeah, we're looking into it, but we have a loose idea of what's causing it, and the fix in itself is above me. But
yeah, I mean, you'd have to speak dev.
yeah,
Let's see. Somebody asking if they need to finish Esmeralda's achievements in order to unlock Bruner's champion. Is it Pirate Bruner skin?
yeah, Pirate Bernard's because that's in the in Donar's one. If you've already completed all of Donar's stuff, make me a ticket. I will hit the buttons to give you that skin.
Yeah, that's definitely one of those things where I know that you know, time gates aim to fulfill a lot of that stuff, but it doesn't always work.
Yeah,
Um,
don't for this one. Do not make it on a public beta list because I won't see it, or I'll see it in like in the next meeting kind of thing, and I'll be oh no, and I have to go and helps go and find your account and then add it that way. So just make me a full actual ticket.
let's see. Silesa's follow-up is that they load the slot argument because they have champions like Melf in slot 12 that disprove the entire argument. It doesn't disprove the argument. It's like Melf is intentionally balanced for that slot, but Melf does more than just buff.
Yeah,
Like
Alpha's a speed
a
champion.
champion that can be a speed champion doesn't need to also support as well as every other champion in that slot because they don't fulfill the same need.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, I don't. I mean, I clearly like the reason that we're coming to a head on this is because we're not looking at this the same way at all.
yeah,
But yeah, a champion who is a speed champion, like that is a tag. That is something that impacts your gameplay another way. Like, why would a champion who makes everything faster also be the best buffer? Like, why would you ever use anybody else in that slot?
Abram was also a speed champion. Like,
Oh God, could you imagine if Avery was also a speed champion?
yeah,
He already makes everybody else small and him bigger.
yeah,
It is not a tag. Oh, that's true, actually. You know what? Speed is a tag internally in our design stuff. It's not a tag in the game. It's support, gold, etc. But it's a different thing. You got to take the whole kit, not just the part of it that you comparing Bruner's rally numbers exactly to one other aspect of somebody else's design isn't exactly. It's not an exact comparison because they're not the same. Anyways, please use Esmeralda and then come back to us with feedback about the design.
yeah.
Test it out. See how far you get. Let's see. I have a ton of extra characters unlocked, but I only use the starters because I don't know what the best ones are for the ones I have unlocked and their equipment. What's the best way to figure out what my best characters are? Oh, that's specific.
I mean, that's a matter of just playing with them each. Like,
Yeah.
swap it, take your time, spend them in and out. Like,
Yeah. There's
you
obviously
can go to
there's the ones that people consistently use that are like categorically obvious choices. Like throwing Krull in your formation is going to make your formation go further. It just
Yeah.
is. But there are, you know, they aren't all flat comparisons. Like if you're a fresh player who just started and you only have gear on your core champions, like Jarlaxle is amazing until you can consistently and easily unlock Minsk, who scales better and has an AoE attack, and like I'm not going to get into Delena, but Jamila is the next real DPS that shows up who can replace Minsk.
May Delina rest in peace, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the playing with the best characters is all about like finding what fits your formation. Like like I said, I use Sasaspia a lot, and there are a ton of people who say she's not that good, but I think she fits well in my formation, and I love using her. So
Yeah, I think she's good. I mean, I tend to use Bruner most of the time, but if I can't fit him, maybe I use Deacon because I want my formation to go faster. I don't know. I mean, I let the game progress and offline progress a lot. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's useful for all color information, at least. Yeah, thank God. She's got something.
I'm so fixated on this speed champion support conversation right now. If
Yeah.
speed champs aren't meant to support as well as non-speed supports, why should we pursue them instead of swapping to real supports when pushing? Is this an actual design document thing? I'm like, no, what I'm saying is you are trying to compare two things that are different. A champion who can speed up your gameplay and support is not the same thing as a champion who can support. You know, like you're looking at the support numbers being like, number A is bigger than number B, and like maybe it is, but like that's not the only thing that they do. Like, I don't know how I can make it more clear. Like, just straight up, like, you know, use your fast champions to get somewhere, and then use your non-fast champions when you get there who support better.
Fast champions push the wall, soften up for your dedicated support champions. And
yeah, like if you don't want to use Esmeralda, don't use her. But she is best used if you put her in right away and use her for your entire adventure.
Yeah, guards make situational decisions. Whatever your adventure's like, whatever your variant you're doing, choose what's best for at that time.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I was actually quite frankly surprised that Esmeralda performed as well as she does for me.
I have not had a chance to fully test her out yet. I unlocked her, got like a bunch of favors, and I was like, okay, back to work.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Why aren't you using familiars? Just because it makes the background of the stream really spammy. That's why I'm not using them. Let's see. Any possibility of having a campaign or event where we could assemble a dream team of all champions without being restricted to slots and have an unrestricted grid? Probably not. The game isn't built that way, but also, you know, like, never mind that the game isn't built that way. There's no way to balance that.
Yeah.
Because, like,
I mean, that's the point, is to not be balanced and just
yeah. And you know what? And I very much understand as a player how much fun it is to not have to worry about things being fairly balanced sometimes, you know? To like bring this all the way back to WoW, the best time is right before an expansion where your stats are overpowered before they become garbage going into higher level content, right? Because like when you're at the end of an expansion and you've got all the raid gear and all that stuff, and your like crit rate is stupid high, and like you can nuke everything in half a second just by blinking at it. That is a fun time to play. So like I very much understand the appeal of things that aren't balanced, but I don't know that we'll ever do a dream team campaign where you can just have whomever you want. Yeah. Now, wow, they squished everybody to 50. Yeah, I know, it's weird. It's a strange feeling. I'm getting used to it. I can't imagine how to do that kind of complex math, like to develop algorithms that change an entire game that goes from 1 to 120 or whatever at the time, to scale it down to 1 to 50. And this is like the third or fourth time they've done a stat squish. Like,
oh God.
Yeah, that's some complex math and some.
That's a degree I don't have.
Yeah. I know that Eric was telling me about one of the times they went to BlizzCon, and he and David and Justin met the guys at Blizzard who do that. And we're talking to them about it. Yeah.
You have risk calculators, the whole shebang. Wristwatch calculators.
Yeah. Can you add screenshots to tickets?
No. Although you can email them to us, idlechampions@codenameEntertainment.com, or just any image hosting site you want to use, just pop the link in there.
Let's see. Answer that. Oh, that one cuts off, so I can't. I think they're asking about a better, like, so there's actually a whole bunch of questions related to the same thing that are like kind of like just periodically peppered through, and it's just like the visibility of debuffs and better ways to parse that information. Because when you see a wolf and they've got one icon on them, you can't really tell if it's been overwritten by other stuff or if there's things beyond it. And that is some actionable feedback I can pass back, because there should be some way to see that information. So making a note. A clear all button for Modron cores. What like? So we've talked about doing that before, and like that's not something we're going to add until we add a way to save your Modron core. Because
Oh man,
somebody accidentally clearing their core is going to be a fun ticket for Shawn.
that's I can't. That's nothing I can do about it, man. If you cleared your core, like, sorry, you got to spend the time building it.
Yeah. Quality of life, a monstrous manual that updates as you encounter. That would be like I agree that would be super cool, but it's that is
So much.
unlikely to be something that gets implemented just because of the way the game is built and just thinking about like memory requirements for operation on different platforms. And it's unlikely. Yeah. Would you guys be open to taking a look at a mock-up of a revamped champion portrait block? Hey, I mean, sure. You can post that in the Discord. God, I'm trying to remember the
Suggestions?
names. Yeah, suggestions would be good. You could send it to us in an email, like, you know.
Yeah.
Good ideas are good ideas, no matter where they come from. But whether or not it's something that gets done. The thing about UI development is it is a very slow, very long-lasting process.
Adam loves UI.
Yeah, he just loves it.
He loves it so much.
But like, oh god, the amount of iteration it takes is just crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Maybe one day Archon Slot 4 will be in the Gem Store. Yeah, what was that? That was part of our console launch celebration week, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
I
Was it
don't
a
know.
pack you could buy, or
I don't know if that item specifically will end up at the Gem Store, but yeah, certainly the Gem Store or the Wild Offers is where it's most likely to pop up. So it really just depends on whether or not it was something that was a money thing or a gameplay thing at the time.
Yeah, I also wasn't around for that one. The console, was it a pack you could buy for it, or?
I think it might have been the console week participation reward, but it's been a few years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my long-term memory is like getting worse and worse lately.
Having a child, man.
Yeah, lack of sleep it's real. An idea that capping an item would automatically add any missing versions of that item to the account. It's an interesting suggestion.
I mean, it would add it to the collection rather than adding the item. Because I think adding the items will add item levels to it. You know, and only one item in your thing caps. For most champions, at least.
Yeah. Somebody mentioning Keelix. Doesn't Keelix got a blessing issue right now, doesn't he? Or an adjacency issue
no,
or something?
I think it's a misunderstanding of people. Issue, yeah, because maybe I'm misunderstanding what this person's saying, but a lot of people get confused by when it says the 50% bonus. They think it adds an extra stack, but it doesn't. It just adds the actual total buff, because those people account for more than just 50% at that point. So I have like a set response for those tickets. But I haven't. If there is a full issue, pop it in the public beta bug list, and we'll take a look.
Let's see. Given Modron health node buffs, might we see champion healing / shielding change to be percentage based versus fixed numbers? Probably not, because it used to be, and it was very abusable.
It used to be percent numbers.
Yeah.
Well, I guess old fire breath potions were percentage health based.
Yes,
right?
they were. Old fire breath potions could get you through any kind of content.
Oh, that's no fun.
Well, yeah, there's a reason that they got
nerfed.
They didn't get nerfed. If you had them, if you had one, you still have it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they didn't get changed. They just got removed from being a possible loot options and replaced with a different kind of fire breath potion.
Yeah.
But yeah, the old fire breath potions were just they did percentage based damage. Yeah. So the epic one did 8% of an enemy's health per click.
So was it max health or current health?
No, the max health.
Oh, yeah.
You just shredded through them, and like we didn't have a whole bunch of familiars and stuff at the time.
Uplicker goes a long way at that point.
It sure did. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it allowed people to get past anything, and it also trivialized too many variants and stuff too. Like a lot of people get around it. And so now we have different issues with that in that there are variants that you can complete with click damage by just not having a formation.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Gar says if it was current health, they would never kill something. That's the point.
Yeah.
So your champion is such that I'd then make the attack to kill them.
Yeah. Any chance on a community of... Whoops. What the hell?
I do that all the time.
That was a weird... community events with multiple goals where we can gather and discuss on Discord to tackle goals for rewards. So that's always possible. We spend a lot of time internally talking about how we could do integrations and how we could do community-based things, given that we are a single-player experience and we don't have multiplayer and we don't have leaderboards and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And yeah, there are some ideas on how that could happen, but nothing that we're in a position to talk about yet.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is there any plans to make use of excessive flow in Modron cores? What is the point of pumping 50,000 flow into one component?
50,000 flow in one component? Gee.
So, long term, yes. There are ideas around what we would do, and actually, I don't know if they're firm plans. Like Justin was kind of talking about it on stream a while back, but it wasn't something that we committed to a specific course of action with. Mm-hmm. But the idea of like, if you could deliver overflow to every component, maybe it would you'd have a reason to do so. Like there'd be something for it, but we haven't done that. Why is Bruner's skin in Donar's event? I mean, why not? Bruner doesn't have an event. It's got to be in one.
He's got to put it somewhere.
But it was also it was something we were trying out to see. One, like, it takes a fair amount of time and resources on our end both to make champions and to make skins and stuff like that. Like more time than you would probably hazard a guess at. And so we were, just testing out to see what it's like. Like, what is it like when you have a reward for completing a variant that is a skin? And so sometimes we do that. Often we don't. More often we don't. But
I think there's only 4 champions that do that, right?
Sounds right.
Rosie, Strix.
Yeah.
Bruner and Avren.
Yes, I think that's
those 4.
Yeah, although I've seen planning docs that include more.
Ooh, I'm not privy to those planning docs.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's locked in or if it's going to happen. So
yeah,
a lot of things can change in between when they get planned and implemented.
Totally. Yeah.
Like Modron automation was planned to end of last year, and then it took a long time to make and longer to fix.
Yeah. It's a very complex system.
It's a super complex system. Yeah, it's not a complaint. Yeah. How did we know it was going to be so big, such a big system? It was one of those things where like, yeah, we think we could do this in this amount of time, and it's like, nope, it took much longer. Yeah. Making games is hard. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do you have plans to add more settings options to turn off some of the special effects? There are times when speed potions are active, a snowy scene where I get a headache due to these special effects at once. Yeah, speed potions are an interesting case in that obviously the settings that we have for turning things like flashing effects and stuff off don't work as effectively as you'd like when the game is 10 times faster. Because then other things that were not flickering effects become flickering effects. And so do we have something that is designed to mitigate that as you speed up the game? No, we don't. Yeah. Let's see. I was playing on PS4 and I was on level 74 of the first Esmeralda quest in the game, locked. No way to press the support button. How would I submit a ticket for this? I assume like closing the game and reloading it, it's still frozen?
Yeah.
Or is it like, or are you moving ahead an area a minute, like with offline progress?
Yeah, but if for whatever reason there is no way for you to send a ticket, email.
Yeah, we can look up your account through other information that you can provide us.
Just shoot us an email. Make sure you have your PSN in it, or whatever your username is for whatever platform you're on.
Yeah.
It's very common. I get an email that just says, "Hi, my account is stuck. Please help me."
Yeah.
And then I
you
have nowhere to go.
Look at the email account, and there you go.
Yeah.
Assuming that it's tied to the same thing. So
yeah.
Hopefully your email account is your Idle Champions account is all that stuff.
The newsletter. Yeah.
Are there any more pirate skins coming? Maybe. Yeah, I know there's an unhealthy love of pirates that could lead to more pirate skins. I know if we said, Adam, we're doing pirate skins for every champion next year, he'd be like, "Yar."
We need more ninja skins to balance it out.
Yeah. Will we get something easier to see which feats we are missing from gems and chests? So we've talked about this on stream, but I don't have any updates or anything official to report on it. The idea is that having a collections for feats, so you could see all the feats on all the characters in some kind of interface that would show you what you're missing and all that stuff. And I don't know if there's a timeline on that. I don't know if that's something that Justin was hoping to do sooner rather than later. But he did talk about kind of like, my dream is that we would have it look like this in the game. And that's kind of, as far as I know, where it still is. Because, we've been kind of hunkered down doing quality of life and bug fixes for a couple months now. And I think we're still planning to continue that for at least a bit.
I think so. Yeah, I don't think we have anything major planned.
Yeah, there's no major feature announcements for this year or anything, I don't think, left.
Yeah. I think company has to say, well, I want cat skins for all the champions. I can approve of that. I like that.
Cat skins? No.
Everyone gets little cat ears.
I don't want our game to look like cats. That's not good. Does Strahd have a last name? Yeah, it's von Zarovich.
Yep. Count
Strahd von Zarovich. Why do the Dark Order not truly buff Archon, who benefits specifically from positional buffs? That's a great question for Justin.
Yeah, that's a Justin question.
Yeah. Can we get an intelligence feat for Krull?
And it's using for Strahd.
Yeah. No, I know why they want it. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't just have Krull for everything. It makes the game too easy.
Yeah, see, that's back to the choice thing. Now, granted, Strahd variant's having an intellect requirement because intellect is a dump stat for basically every D&D player who isn't a wizard or an arcane trickster.
Yeah.
It's not like charisma where it's, the de facto casting stat for 4 classes. Which is, as far as I'm personally concerned, like the biggest obstacle to balancing D&D.
Yeah, totally.
Because there are just so many egregious ways you can abuse high charisma across multi-classing. But, the fact that intellect isn't more useful for other classes is kind of like, I don't know, this is a shame. But anyways, it's a little unfair. But because that's how players tend to play D&D and they use int as a dump stat, most of our champions tend to have low int because they're based on players' characters, right? So...
Lauren saying, Dylan saying the hard truths.
Yeah.
Not
wrong. It's just the way it be. Yep. What about B. Dave Walters' design of Freely? Well, that's a good example of charisma stats being abused. He's 4 classes and easily able to do all kinds of ridiculous stuff.
he's Bard Warlock, and then
he's got Paladin because he can Divine Smite. He's a Valor Bard, so he gets movement when he attacks and hits stuff, I think.
Wow.
He's got Eldritch Blast. It's a great example of, but there's no equivalent to that for int. You don't really multi-class with intelligence. If you're a wizard, you're a wizard in 5e.
Did you ever see the video on YouTube that was going around for Absurd? Who was leveled in everything.
1 level in everything?
Yeah, it was 1 or 2 levels in every class.
Ugh.
Yeah.
That hurts. I guess they have unarmored defense and stuff at least.
Yeah.
There are some good things. There are a couple of classes that are super OP, like Hexblade Warlocks, where you could put 1 level in it, and suddenly your charisma, you have medium armor, you have shields, you have Eldritch Blast, you have charisma-based melee damage and stuff like that. It's just what? All at once. One
little dip.
Yeah, I'm crossing my fingers that for some reason Hexblade Warlocks are in Baldur's Gate 3, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Oh yeah, so that's the speedrun class.
Yeah.
I think somebody already speedrun it and they can do it in 7 minutes. I think what it was.
Yeah. Let's see. Garwar has a question that I have no idea the answer for that I would have to get Justin for.
I actually think it's...
What is the damage bonus you get when you upgrade a champion for a level past their soft cap?
I think it's 1% per level.
Is that what it is?
I think so.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
It's enough that it bumps up a little bit, but it's it's not very good.
Yeah.
It also fully heals you, so.
Mm-hmm. We should get a champion that does everything. A support, DPS, speed, debuff champion called Mary Sue.
That's absurd.
It's Briv. Yeah, it's Briv.
Briv, yeah. Yeah, that is true, actually.
What? And he's also a tank.
Yeah.
He could heal your entire formation. He could skip levels to speed you up. He's got a buff. He's a tank. He's Briv, the magic jumping half orc.
There you go. Already done.
Yeah.
Nothing off the list.
Yeah, if anything, what we should do is we should talk to Adam Bradford about having a Mary Sue skin made for Briv.
Yeah, actually, Briv would be a Gary Sue, so we're still missing a Mary Sue.
What's that?
So because Briv is male, you'd be a Gary Stew instead.
A Gary Stew?
Yeah, we would need a Mary Stew to.
Oh man,
balance it out.
You just put a wig on him.
It's a long flowing wind.
Has anyone found a good use for Jaheira? Jaheira's a little niche.
Yeah.
I found I was using her in my gold find, my gem farming formation a lot, because you can put her in like Beast Intentions or something and just have her just tear through it.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Do you know and can you reveal if Lucius will be coming to the game before the end of this year? Yes.
That's a you question for sure.
But it's a yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The answer is yes.
Yeah.
Lucius, Elwin, Elanasto. What was it? Varian, Elwin, Elanasto? Yeah, Lucius, Varian, Elwin, Elanasto will be coming to the game this year. 2020. And I can say that because it actually is locked in.
Yeah. I've seen the creation of Lucian. It's pretty neat.
Yeah. I contributed a little bit to the design after the call with Chris Trott about it.
Ooh.
Yeah. Let's see. Who's Rasteline, lover of the Faerun Queen? I'm just gonna delete that. Rasputin.
Yeah.
Can you make a promise today that any employee who suggests that Raceland be added be stabbed in the eyes? Why would I do that? Raceland Bajir is one of the best characters out of that canon, darn it.
That's a pretty bold.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a love him or hate him character.
Oh, from Dragonlance?
Yeah. I read a lot of Dragonlance growing up. So many, like,
never touched it.
Although I have since found out that they've made like another 100 books since I stopped reading. I was like, holy crap.
Really?
Wow. Yeah. Anyways, let's see what else we got. Who added in the Mr. Pointy joke in the items for Esmeralda? Was that from D&D lore or just someone throwing in a Buffy reference? That is a Buffy reference. Yeah. For those who don't know, Buffy the Vampire Slayer was a television show in the late 90s into the early aughts, starring Sarah Michelle Gellar, who named one of her steaks Mr. Pointy. Yeah. Which now I realize, like, Buffy never used to be a reference that made you old, but now it is.
We ask people, what was 40 years ago? Like, oh, it was 1960. Like, no.
No, it was 1980. You're like, ah! Yeah. Let's see. Thank you for the great game. Just started enjoying it immensely. Have a great rest of your stream, and thanks to everybody who answered questions. Hey, thanks for coming by. Yeah, we appreciate it.
Come check out tomorrow. We make
I'm sorry I'm not more energetic. I'm real tired.
We had a big question list today too. It's never ending.
Going.
Oh god.
The steak was named by Kendra, not Buffy, and you call yourself a fan. Ah, yes, Kendra, the Vampire Slayer who gets killed and then replaced by Faith. I remember. Sorry, I haven't watched that show in a long ass time. Forgive me. What's that?
So I think I was too young for Buffy when it was coming out.
Yeah, you know what? So when I got together with my wife, when she was, my girlfriend at the time, it was one of the shows I made her watch. But this was like 10 years ago, so the show was only off air for like 8 years at that point or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wasn't nearly as old as it is now, but made her watch it, and we watched Buffy's like first season, and then whenever they started Angel, we started that subsequently. I think at the end of the second season of Buffy is when Angel starts. Okay. And so we alternated, and she found it annoying. I'm like, the reason we're alternating is because they start to cross over, and I don't want you to they didn't do a huge amount of it, but they did some. So I just wanted it to work. And I still, as it ended season 3. Yeah, because it carries on one season past when Buffy ends with season 5. So yeah, season 3. And I don't know, like it's got really great characters, and there's a lot of things about it that are really good, but there's a lot of things about it that are really dated. But the episodes of it that are considered to be absolute masterpieces still are. You know, they
Sorry,
did.
Xenobite's like, thanks, Shawn. Too young for Buffy. It makes me feel so old.
Yeah. Well, it's like they did a musical episode before any other show thought to do one.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it's still probably the best musical episode of a show. That's not normally just a musical. Like that the Once More with Feeling episode of Buffy is brilliant. There's an episode with no dialogue that's absolutely brilliant. Well, nearly no dialogue.
Weird.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Is that the sound episode that someone was talking about there?
Yeah. It's I can't remember the name of the episode anymore, but the enemies in it are super creepy. And basically, what the first thing they do is they arrive in town and they open up this box and it pulls everybody's voices into it.
Oh.
And so then the episode starts and nobody can talk to anybody and nobody can effectively communicate. And then they're going around murdering people who can't scream. It was good.
I think it was called Hush.
Hush. Yeah, that's the name of the episode. Yeah, the gentlemen were the names of the... They're like these creepy ghouly dudes in suits who were always smiling like really creepily and like floating along. And then they had like crazy insane asylum sidekicks in like straitjackets that were like running around on all fours. It was weird. And then eventually there was an episode called The Body that is still the hardest episode of any television show to watch.
Ooh.
Yeah, which is... I had forgotten about it, and then when my wife and I got to that episode, I was like, "Oh God, this one!" Like, there's a few episodes of Buffy and Angel that just like absolutely destroy your feelings, just ruin them. Yeah, yeah. Anyways, but you know, it's the show's a little dated.
Yeah.
What can I say?
Well, it was made in the 90s, right?
Yeah, and some shows age better than others.
Yeah.
You know, like because the A-Team was always a cheesy, terrible B movie. It still is, and you watch it, you're like, this is exactly what I remember. You know, it's totally fine. Or like watching the original Transformers cartoon, like it's still the exact same thing. But some things don't hold up quite as well, and Buffy the Vampire Slayer is definitely one of them. Angel holds up pretty darn well though. But they went for a totally different aesthetic. It's like really gothy and moody.
Angel's the vampire in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, right?
Yeah, he's the vampire with the soul who's a good guy until he loses his soul. Until he loses his soul and she kills him. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was actually. But then eventually he gets back. And somebody is saying Angel has the best ending of any show ever. Fight me. It's a good ending. It's a really good ending. Yeah. A really, really good ending, actually. Even though it's like we're canceled and it's like a light switch, like the show is just over, but they go down fighting, and you're like, you watch it, you're like, they died. Like there's no way they lived through it. They're dead. But it was a really good wrap up because it summed up the series very well.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
And they had really brutal, really dramatic deaths of a whole bunch of their main characters over the course of the end of it.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was a massacre. It was good. Yeah, Firefly had a light switch. It's over. That's because nobody watched it. Let's be honest. Anybody here who says they watched Firefly watched the DVD box set. You didn't watch it when it was on TV, because if you watched it when it was on TV, it wouldn't have been canceled so fast. Like their Christmas party a few months into the production was their wrap up party.
Oh.
And so the video, like it's on the DVD box set. They're like, the video is like it's like the introduction for the Christmas party, and they're all joyous because they'd recorded it before they got canceled. And then it's like the bloopers and stuff. Oh man, yeah.
Everyone's saying I watched it live, and they're lying.
Yeah, sure you did.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
we believe you.
Yeah. Oh god. Anyways, it's about 5 minutes too. So I know there's a bunch of questions I didn't get to. Sorry about that. You guys kind of fired them off at us much more furiously than I was expecting for today.
You can always ask me tomorrow too.
Yeah, ask Shawn when Lee's making pancakes, and Shawn.
I actually don't get a lot of Idle Champions questions while we're making pancakes. So, bring it on.
Yeah.
Oh wait, hold on.
Yeah.
that was a challenge. I don't. That's not what I wanted to say.
Yeah. So
I take that back.
Anyways, I know people have a lot of questions about Esmeralda right now, and a lot of thoughts on Esmeralda right now. I encourage you to try her more before finalizing your opinions. because while I was immediately able to see success in using her in some specific formations, I know that my experience is not the generic player experience. So,
Yeah.
we very much are curious what your feedback is about it. Um, yeah, this show. Uh, we're like 160 days into quarantine or something at this point, I think,
Yeah,
into remote work.
something like that. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, this show is well. No, first things first. Thank you for joining us today, for participating in the Idle Champions and D&D communities, for joining us in chat, for asking questions, for holding us accountable, for giving us feedback, but also giving us constructive criticisms and all that stuff. Like you guys are awesome, and we really appreciate you. This show exists because of lots of amazing people, including Jay, our co-producer, moderator, our Erica, who I call our executive producer, our partners at D&D, whom there are lots of, and also finally thanks to Shawn for joining me today. I was feeling really low energy this morning, and I'm glad Shawn volunteered some time in his afternoon to join me to talk about World of Warcraft and
A game I've never played.
Critical Role.
Also, the first time I've been on stream with Dylan, so I'm glad.
Yeah.
Finally stream with you.
Yeah. It's been good. It's been good. We should do it again
Next time
for Extra Life or something.
Yes.
But anyways, take care, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Have a great week, and we'll catch you tomorrow for Griddle Champions.
Woo!
Peace out. Did I remember to change the outro? I bet I didn't.
Uh-oh. We'll see. Ooh.